stream. I want to ask that.
Illuminati Audios.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about at all.
Stream. I want to ask that.
Illuminati.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
And we live! Yeah, we were live. We're already live. We're live in the building. Skip01 here. Everyday Audios. T-Fade's over there somewhere.
T-Fade, holla.
Mister. Look at Mister. Mr. 6.5 in the house. What they gonna do with him? Single sub beating walls out there, they say.
Do nothing with him. Cannot.
Right, that dude's mid 55s on like a mid bass sub. What they?
For real.
What they gonna do with that?
Legitimately.
Ronnie Smith in the house. There it is. Is that the first one? What is that? That's a Lanzar? Oh, that's a Recon, just in case.
Yep.
Mr. Ronnie Smith in the building. How you doing, bro?
What's up now? Doing pretty good.
That's good. That's good. Y'all got finals coming up, huh?
Yeah, this weekend actually. Saturday and Sunday.
Ooh, that's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting.
So
what'd you say, Skip? Was it a real finals or it was a finals?
Yeah, it's one of the made up shows. Yeah.
One of those made up organizations.
Yeah, it's some stuff out in the sticks.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Where do y'all meet her? Y'all like put it on the headliner or something?
It's all port scores.
Yeah. No, I mean NSPO they do Outlaw Wild Kick, they do Legal Sealed, and they do some port wars, so to speak.
It's a fun class. Port Wars is a fun class.
People,
it's pretty interesting.
I hate when people post it though, like that's their score. Like
and
no,
don't
get out.
Announce
yeah,
it,
yes.
You know, like immediately.
It happens constantly now. I love it.
I think my most viewed video on my channel is my 170 with the Atomic 8 like 10 years ago.
Dude, was that like a legit port box, or like that was that stupid tube thing you could use?
Legit. I never did one of those.
Oh, okay.
Those cheater boxes.
Yeah.
Never did.
They outlawed those.
Yeah.
Well,
just for good reason. It's stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the friggin' point?
Yeah, it was just maxing out the meter with like a little air nozzle that on the end, and you just shoved it right into the little tiny.
Right into that little nipple, the sensor nipple.
Yeah. Oh man.
But yeah, they were doing crazy numbers. They would kept breaking sensors.
Yeah. They outlawed that though. That's good.
Who does Mike on the center?
Y'all breaking up on me here.
You're breaking up. Who does what?
Who does Mike on the center of the dash? I know Black Nasty, Andrew McCullough.
Yeah,
does some of that.
Midwest SPO.
Or was that Bojangles? Wasn't that Midwest SPO?
Yeah, it's Midwest FCO. You can hear us, Ronnie?
Froze.
Lord. Here we go. Technical. Hey, that's that Outback internet connection.
Yeah, right. Get off of Best Buy's internet, dude.
There you go.
I heard some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh snap! We got William Stewart McNeil in the chat.
No way.
This been missing for months. Shows up in the chat. Holla. Oh, I gotta hit it back.
You hear us, Ronnie? Are you trying to stream it and watch it? All right, because if you try to stream, it might take up too much of your 3G internet that you're using right this moment. Go kick the mouse that's on the wheel back in the back and tell them to get back on the internet. Get back on the internet, bruh.
You good?
I think I'm good now.
So what classes are you gonna be running? Is it this weekend? Like World Finals this weekend?
World.
Yeah, it's this weekend. I'll do the single 6.5, single 8. I'm gonna
do. Those are classes.
That's what I said.
Those are classes.
Oh, yeah, single 12, single 15, single 18.
It's like old Whitley. You remember Whitley?
Yep.
I used to love those classes.
Yeah, those are actually classes, and then those classes actually have Eliminator, which is a 30-second music run, and they also have their own port scores as well. So I'll run all those.
You're running the 30-second too?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Absolutely.
That is a lot of classes. They must have 900 trophies out there.
It's a lot.
I mean, it sounds like fun. Don't get me wrong. If you can support, if an organization can support that many classes, more power to them. I love it.
Yeah.
I love options. The only problem is,
it gives you a ton of options.
Yeah, everywhere you go, you're going to be the only person in a class.
unfortunately, like the 6.5 class, that's the case. I'm the only one.
Well, I pick classes.
Nobody's
nobody
running
else in them on
Yeah,
purpose.
yeah. Well, they suck. They get boring though.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I mean, pretty much like I was telling you, Skip, the other day. You know, you asked me, well, who are you competing against? I'm competing against me. That's it.
Yeah.
I set a goal and I go for it.
Yeah.
You know,
it's great. I mean,
and you know, I can do these numbers here at the house, but then everybody says, oh, well, that's garage score. That don't count. So I'll hop in the lanes. I'll pay my money. I'll get it put on turn pro. Boom. Then it's official.
So what's your official? What's your like personal best 6.5?
Just did it. Just did it. No, you
like
just
garage,
did it. Huh?
I'm counting garage doors. I trust you.
Whatever you seen on the term lab.
A 48, a 148 with a single 6.5.
That's so dumb. I still told them I want to hear it. Like I just want to hear what that sounds like. I can't imagine it, huh? You know. I mean, like I've heard a single 12 that's really loud, but like.
Does it play the same note as your 8?
Yeah. So the sniper box is pretty complex. The way that I designed it was everything's quick change. So I can go from a single 8-inch sub to a single 6.5-inch sub, you know, in a matter of 10 minutes. And I maintain the same tune. I maintain the same ratios. I maintain everything. It's the same, just the diameter of the sub.
Yeah, you're just jumping cone. That's fantastic.
Yep.
I try to, you know, when I'm trying to help somebody, I always try to tell them to keep it modular until you're locked in. You know what I mean? Until you find the absolute best case scenario, keep it modular where you can change it where it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, I love the idea of how modular your box is. I love that.
Yeah, it's all quick change. You know, the baffles quick change. The whole side of the box comes apart. That box actually breaks all the way down, but I only ever take the side off. And even with that, I made it where there's an adapter ring where if I ever mess that adapter ring up, that's replaceable too. You know, as well as the baffles, everything's replaceable.
I love that.
So I can run it for a while. There's actually been several revisions of that box, and so far, this is my best one so far. It's the most efficient and the most user-friendly to me.
I saw, I think I saw a 52 out of an 8, huh? Didn't you get a 52?
Yeah. A 52-1.
Okay, so you're just catching me 10 years later. Okay.
Yeah.
In a CRX.
Yep.
Well, yeah, it doesn't really count.
No.
Yep.
CRX and Ronnie Smith have to have their own classes.
Well, to be fair, mine was in a damn Home Depot bucket, so suck it.
Now keep in mind, a 52 is just all I've showed so far.
Bang bang.
Well, you still got a ways to catch.
Typically, what I post, that's already been passed. I don't never post my current. Nor will I tell you my current.
We'll have to take your word for it in case you blow up a sub this weekend. Maybe we won't know. You have backups?
Oh hell yeah!
All right, good. Old Jacob gonna be standing right in line behind you. Here you go.
Soldering leads.
Quick change this recone.
It actually is. You know, finals this year is going to be a little different for me because I'm going to run the X8 V3, which the D2 version just got to sundown like Tuesday. So mine, the ones that I had them ship me, they're not even here yet. They're over at Jarrett, so I'm gonna go pick them up tomorrow. But I haven't tested it at all. So you know, I'm going in the blind on this.
All of us, I mean every single one of us, we all like kill ourselves all year, every year, and then every single person is like last minute everything right the night before final. It's just I don't understand it. You know, we have 12 months to get your shit in a pile, and every year everyone is like, oh my god, I need a sub, I need an amp, whatever.
Yeah. I just finished the amp change and everything, so I'm going into finals. I'm using 2 SCV 4Ks now.
So yeah, you're not hurting for power.
No. No, I want more power than I need.
I think Jacob used to put like I think Jacob used to strap like a pair of NS1s to the 8 in the Magic Box in that
Yeah.
stupid dang Cherokee that he's got.
Oh yeah, well the X8 V1 and V2, you know, either one of them, they have no problems eating 7K. I mean, no problem.
So what fails on them?
Usually, in my case,
Right.
my particular, because the 6 order, I have to slow roll to build up a little pressure. If I don't, I'll unload the sub real quick and I'll break the triple joint. Is what'll fail on me with my box. And you know, over time, I learned that I was actually having some subs fail at the end of the run. You know, after I was rolling out. Well, once I got the plexiglass side where I could put a camera on it and actually watch it, what was happening was at the end of the run, I was just turning it all the way off. And when I would, it would unload so bad that it would rip the former in two. I mean, it would just snatch it all the way in two.
That's
No
crazy.
kidding.
So not only do I have to slow roll in, I have to slow roll out too. So I have to
That's
have
insane.
a sub that can withstand that power for almost a whole run, a whole 30-second run.
Hey, when you're pushing limits, it's the kind of shit you got to do, man.
That's crazy to even think of.
Yeah.
But look, we don't know you. I mean, we know you because you're Mr. 6.5 and you do all this testing and the sniper box and whatnot. But that's not where we met you.
Yeah.
Right.
So
That's not the first introduction.
I have no idea how it took, I don't know, what, 3 or 4, maybe 5 years for me to run across you on Facebook. But one day I'm just surfing, scrolling the feed, and I see this insane build, like crazy clean, bananas, you know, build in the suitcase and the ice chest. And I was like, man, this is amazing, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not often that I'll feel compelled to be like, man, I got to show people this. So that's when first time we ever spoke, I messaged you. I was like, hey, man, you mind if I share this build? And that was Bisquick, right?
Yeah. Yep, Bisquick.
Tell us about Bisquick.
So I'll give a little backstory. So anyhow, I was, you know, late 90s, whatnot. I was pretty heavy into audio. You know, that was way before cell phones and stuff. So anyhow, you know, I was from the era of surfboard amps and stuff like that, you know. And anyhow, you know, I've had builds like I had a Chevy Lumina that was walled with 415s in it. I had another one with 612s. You know, I used to have some fairly large builds in the past. Well, anyhow, I kind of got out of it. I got out the scene for a long time. You know, I got into drag racing, stuff like that, and just
as we all
left,
do.
and left it all alone. And so
how
anyhow,
long ago are we talking now? Like a pre-term lab days?
Yeah, back then I had no clue what a damn term lab was.
Oh, you weren't like competitions, just try to make people.
I used to go to competitions and watch, but I never competed. You know, it was always just something that I was interested in. And you know, there was a local place in Fayetteville, Stereo World. They used to have competitions out there, and we would go watch them. And you know, but I never competed. You know, it was just something I enjoyed doing. So anyhow, back then I actually was trying to start my own business, so to speak, because I did a lot of custom suspension work, you know, hydraulics, air ride, stuff like that. I did some installs, and I really enjoyed it, but then I kind of got burnt out on it. So I just kind of ditched that and started racing. So anyhow, about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, me and Kyle Rutherford, we grew up together. So, I mean, I've known Kyle.
Clippo!
Yes. Yeah, I actually, you know, back then I had a 66 Impala with hydraulics and stuff on it. Kyle actually drove that car so much that when I would drive it, people would ask me, hey, why are you driving Kyle's car? You know, because they thought it was his car. But anyhow, when I decided to get back into audio, I had 5 Rockford Fosgate HX2 Power 12s in the Explorer, and I sold them, And I got up with Kyle and said, "Hey, what's trending? What what's the latest and greatest? I've been unplugged from the audio for 10+ years. What's the latest and greatest?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Sundown Audio." I was like, "Well, I want two tens." He was like, "Well, get you two X10s." So I'd never heard of Sundown. Had no damn clue who it was. So I bought my X10s. I had just bought the wagon, Bisquick. I'd got rid of all that stuff, all my old cars and everything. And I told my wife, I was like, "Look, I had like 7 Harleys at the time."
Damn.
I was like, "Look, I'm going to sell a couple of my bikes, and I want to buy a car. I want to buy an old car that's running and driving, then I can put my touches on it." So I found Bisquick at Myrtle Beach. It was, it's about 2.5 hour drive for me. I went up there, paid cash for it, brought it home, and basically once I got it, I tore the car completely apart and started over. Not that it was.
For those of us, or for those watching that don't know Bisquick, what is it? What kind of car?
It's a 1962 Biscayne station wagon. I mean, it's a true Biscayne. A lot of people are taking Impalas and debadging them, claiming they're Biscaynes, but this was a true Biscayne. Which back then the Biscayne was the cheapest model you could buy, but now people like that. But anyhow, so I bought it and started building it, and around that time, I needed a box built. So again, I hit up Kyle. Said, "Kyle, who can design and build me a box? I want the box under the floor. In the back in the cargo area, there's a large compartment." I said, "I want the box under the floor." He said, "Jarrett Gibson." Well, Kyle introduced me to Jarrett, and Jarrett built my first box for that car. And then from that day forth, me and Jarrett's been real good friends. And the build just kept progressing. I kept finding new things to do. I always wanted to better myself, and so I kept building. But back to your question, Taylor, is why you didn't see me on Facebook is because I didn't own a cell phone or anything until about 3 years ago.
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I stayed pretty much. Well, it might have been more than 3 years ago, but I stayed out of public's eyes for a long time. Nobody really knowed me, and now here I am. But so anyhow, so I built Bisquick. It had the 210s under the floor, and I did the old Samsonite suitcase that had the amp rack in it.
So
I had to search for a while to find that cooler. That was a metal Coleman cooler, and to find that particular color was really hard.
No kidding. I can imagine.
I think I paid like $250 for that cooler.
Like Yeti prices, dude.
Yeah, because
they don't make them like they used to, though, cuz.
I wanted that exact cooler, that size, and that color. And then I got it, and I cut holes in it to run wires through. So.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. So anyhow.
So what was in the suitcase? What was in the suitcase? Was the amps and the bus power distribution?
So a lot of that was old equipment that I had for a long time. So in the suitcase was
mids and stuff. Huh?
There was 4 Infinity Kappa 6x9s. There was an Infinity amp under the Rockford Fosgate, the 2500. And then I got up with Toolmaker, and Toolmaker made my fuse and ground distribution block for it. And then in the center, there was another Rockford amp, a prime amp. And like I said, this was all equipment I just had sitting around that I wanted to use. But what a lot of people don't know about my wagon is I haven't cut anything on my wagon. My wagon can go back to original at any minute.
Well, yeah.
That's why I used all that vintage stuff, is because I wanted all that system in there without sacrificing the car.
Yeah, that's true. That way you can cut that stuff up instead of the car.
Yep.
That's smart.
Yep.
The base now. What the base now was like a old movie theater drive-in or something.
So the story behind the base knob is there was a Fox drive-in theater uh, here local to us in Fayetteville. My grandma used to work there. Uh, Mom and Dad used to take us there as kids to watch movies. Well, on the last show there, when they said, this is closing up, this is the last show, my dad acquired one of those speakers, and it sat in his shop for years. He had planned on doing something with it, and I was, going through some stuff in there, and I found it, and I was like, wow, this was a part of my childhood. I could use this for something, and I put an active infinity cap of 4 inch in it, um, and I done the bass knob as the volume, and I painted it, had it pinstriped, uh, and then it was a part of the car. That's a part of my childhood that's in my car.
That's awesome.
You know, and a lot of that stuff, that's what it was. It was old stuff that actually meant something to me. And, most people see it, and that's just a drive-in theater speaker. That's all it is. That's all they see. To me, I see memories. You know, yeah, that's how a lot of it was for me.
Yeah. No, it's all fantastic. And if, in case anybody who's watching this now or watches this in the future, you don't have any idea what we're talking about, go find Ronnie Smith on Facebook. Check out his photos. Check out his build logs. It is all awesome. You'll see exactly what we're talking about. Maybe he can post some pictures tomorrow and remind us all who he be, who he is. He is not just Mr. 6.5.
Was it 6.5 as the base setup on that floor?
Not at first.
Okay.
At first, it was 2X10s.
Oh,
okay. And then I got introduced to Mike Jenkins. And
does he smile? Does he smile ever?
Yes, he does.
The man don't smile in pictures ever.
Mike's a real good guy, man.
Yeah,
he really is. Me and Mike used to hang out and go shoot guns and stuff. Just have a good time. Well, anyhow, at the time, Mike had, I can't remember if he had 4 or 6 ZV315s. Well, I bought 2 of them from him. I sold the X10s and was going to put 2 ZV315s down in the floor. Well, I had Jared build me a box. I put the box in there, put the 2 ZV315s in it, stepped back and said, I don't like it, and pulled it out. I sold them. Now, I never even played them. I did not like the way it looked, and I said, nope, I'm not running this. So around that time, I had sold a few guns and had some extra ammo, and Mike wanted that ammo, and I'd been watching some videos, some YouTube videos of 6.5, because I'd seen some pictures of them and was fascinated by them. And John Nodell, not sure how to say his last name, but anyhow, at the time he was messing with the 6.5s in a box that I think he called Double Shot.
Oh yeah. You talking about the old school, like a long time ago? Yeah.
So I followed him on YouTube and was fascinated by his results with it. So I told Mike, I was like, hey, look, I got this ammo. I'll trade you if you can get me one of them 6.5s. He said, yeah, I can do that. So that's when I got my first 6.5 to just play around with and check out. Shortly after that, somebody contacted me and was like, hey, you still got those ZV315s? I was like, yeah, I do. Well, what do you want for them? I want 8 6.5s. So I traded 2 ZV315s for 8 6.5s.
Hey, that's a good trade right there, dude. I think.
Yeah. So then I had 9. I said, well, shit, what am I going to do with 9 6.5s? So I turned around, and I don't remember if I bought or traded and got the 10th one. And then we done the 4th order. I don't know if you remember the 4th order that was in the wagon. It was white. It had a bunch of pinstriping on it. It had the women pinstriped on it and stuff. Well, anyhow, the whole top was plexi. And around that time, that was still the X6.5 V1s. I was impressed with them, but I was having some problems. Um, so I got up with Mike. Mike was actually working for Sundown then at that time. And, they said, well, bring all your 6.5s up here. Bring all of them. So, okay. I don't know what this is about, but okay. So I took all 10 of them up there. Keep in mind, it's like the first time I've ever been to Sundown, to the headquarters. Go in
How
there.
far are they from you?
They're about 2 hours. Yeah, so I usually go once a month at best. Either just to go up there and hang out with them, eat lunch.
I don't
go
blame
check
you.
out all the new stuff. So anyhow, this is the first time me meeting Sundown. At Sundown headquarters. So they take my 6.5s, they throw them up on the test bench, and I can't remember if it was Gary Fletcher or who, but one of them breaks out a razor knife and starts cutting subs up. Now, keep in mind, I have no clue what's going on. So I'm like, holy crap, They're like, oh, well, don't worry about it. We're going to send you back with 10 new ones. I said, okay.
All right.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, well, that's good. So then I was told, look, we want you to run these as hard as you can, beat them up. Whenever you break them, bring them back. Bring them all back. So, okay, I could do that. So that was the start of me chewing up 6.5s. I started just demolishing them.
Oh, yeah.
I was pushing them
it turned you loose on them.
Yeah, I was pushing them to the limits. But what I didn't know at the time is I was actually doing the testing for the V2s. So any of the upgrades that happened on the V2s was in result to any of the failures I had on V1s. See, I didn't know that at the time. So I thought it was cool as hell. So when the V2 come out, when the V2 come out, the prototype, Jacob signed it and gave it to me. So I've got the prototype V2 6.5. That's signed by Jacob. Yeah. So anyhow.
And this was still in
so
the
it kept
Bisquick?
going.
This was still in the Bisquick?
Yes, this was still in the Bisquick. Then I decided I never was satisfied with the fourth order. I never was. It wouldn't produce lows. It sounded great on your average music, but it never produced lows at all. So I decided to go against it, although I'd sunk a lot of money in this box. It's still sitting in the shop, matter of fact. So then I decided to do 14 of them, in a standard slot port. The bottom of the box is dual curved, and I wanted to try that, which we had great, phenomenal results with it. I ran those 6.5s as hard as I could. But now keep in mind, all 14 of them was on a single 2500, on that Rockford. And it did great. I never had any problems with them. And I went to move up on power. I'd got 2 SCV 2Ks, and I'd put it in there, and then I started breaking the rear gate on the car. And you can't find parts.
Problems.
That's some real steel too.
Yeah. Now keep in mind, any way you look at it, with the 14 6.5s in it, it was basically, what do you want to say, under the D pillar. They were in a 17-foot car up under it, and I think the best SPL score it ever done was like a 45, but that was like with 175 watts going to each one, and they're rated at 300 RMS.
I don't know if Stewart's still watching, but he has a wagon, like one of like the one from National Lampoon Vacation, The wagon, and we found out pretty quick that it is tough to get those things loud. You would think, because they're so long, you would peak low, you'd have a lot of time for the wave to mature and loading and all that stuff. But man, thing,
so
I couldn't believe it.
That car sounded great. It sounded real good, played low, surprised a lot of people, including myself. but sucked on the mic. It always sucked on the mic. So I mean, the only thing I ever done with it was demo. That was it.
Yeah.
Didn't
Right.
build it for
So
numbers.
Yeah. There you go. I didn't build
no,
it for
not at
nothing.
all. I mean,
Do a demo.
oh yeah, it's
Bro.
demo now. But yeah. But seriously though, it really surprised a lot of people, and I feel like it attracted a lot of attention to smaller subs, so to speak, to the 6.5s. Okay, and at the time, I wasn't known as Mr. 6.5. Somebody said it, somebody called it to me, and I was like, nah, I don't like that. I'm not going by no damn Mr. 6.5. I was like, no, I'm not doing it.
I don't think you have any say in it.
Well, well, you don't. So long and behold, somebody was like, they was like, hey, look, I bet you won't. When you do a little video, I bet you won't open it up with this your boy, Mr. 6.5. I said, I bet the hell I will. And from then on out, that's the way it's been. Like my first videos would start off, this is your boy Sideshow, because that was my nickname in high school.
I remember that.
This is your boy Sideshow, aka Mr. 6.5. And eventually the Sideshow part was just dropped because everybody knows me as Mr. 6.5. So, but yeah, on like all my older vehicles, like across the front windshield, Sideshow was on it. Even on Bisquick, Sideshow's across the front windshield. Yep. So anyhow, I adapted to Mr. 6.5, and I just
you just gotta own it. Roll
I guess
with
I'm
it.
grown to like it, or I'm just used to it because we just let it ride. However, when I am wearing something that says Mr. 6.5 and someone that has no clue what I'm talking about look at me, I get some very odd looks out. So, but yeah, so that was kind of how I started with the 6.5s. Then the Versa was my wife's car. I bought the Versa for my wife, and I'd put two 6.5s in it because she wanted a small system in it. And I had Jarrett build me a box, put it in it. She drove it every day. And at the time, I had a Tahoe that I was driving daily. Well, somebody ran a stop sign and T-boned the Versa while my wife was driving it. And nobody got hurt, but it scared my wife. She didn't want to drive the Versa no more. And so I said, okay, if you don't want to drive it no more, I'll start driving it. You drive the Tahoe. And so I started driving the Versa, and I'd come up with this ideal, this concept. I wanted to take, at the time, I didn't know anything about 6-orders. Keep in mind, I've been absent from audio for a long time. In my time, we all ran sealed boxes. I mean, pretty much. When I come back, everybody's running band pass boxes, or fourth order, 6 orders, or a ported box. So anyhow, I'd had this ideal, and I had Jarrett build me the first base tube. I'd bought a meter, and I put it in the Versa. The first time that I metered like a single 6.5, I only metered like a 128.
Ouch. I mean, it is like a 6.5, so I mean, how much can you really expect? Yep. But yeah, that hurts.
Yep. So I called Jarrett and was like, hey, man, I've got an ideal, a concept. He's like, what do you got? I said, well, do you have any old boxes, any old ported boxes sitting around that are pretty good size? He's like, well, yeah, I've got an old 4th order that was for a single 12. What are you trying to do? I said, well, I want to take this base tube and put inside of another ported box and see what happens. Jared at first was like, well, I don't think that's going to work too good. I said, well,
what the hell does he know anyway?
Well, I was like, well, let's try it. What do we got to lose? He was like, what are you talking about? I'm already on the way. And I was like, all right. So, he gets to the house, and we throw it in there. And like the first hit we done on it, it was like a 135. This was there was no tuning, this was just stuff thrown together. And, it went from a 28 to a 35 like that. we was like, holy shit, this might work. And so I kept messing with it. And like I said, at the time I still didn't even know it was considered a series tune 6-order. I didn't know a damn thing about a 6-order. So I kept messing with it.
Just keep firing ports into ports and hoping it's loud.
I just, that's what I did. I mean, seriously, I bought a term lab. I kept testing. I kept testing and I kept failing. Then I would test and get better. Then I would fail. It was rinse and repeat. I kept doing it, but I never backed off. I kept doing it. And, it was like I was blown away when I first done a 140 with a single 6.5. I mean,
dude,
that
140 for real? 140's loud.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I mean, it was unreal to me to do a 140 and with a single 6.5. So anyhow, then I had another concept. So I got up with Jarrett and I said, well, I want to make this twice as good. So instead of 1 6.5, I want to try 2 6.5s. So I drew up what we referred to as the double barrel. And at the time, we wasn't calling this box the Sniper Box. I honestly don't even know who came up with the name Sniper Box. It wasn't me.
That was because of the artwork, right? Your daughter's artwork on it?
It was. But see, the very first one, it had more duct tape holding it together than anything.
Hey, that's some T-Fade shit right there.
Well, it originally was, the large port was firing back, and I changed it to a side fire. So we just took a piece of plexiglass that was actually too small and screwed it up to it and then taped it the rest of the way.
I like
That's how we ran. I mean, the very first show I ever competed in, that's how I competed. With plexiglass too small with tape holding it together. And so anyhow, we tested, and at the time I was on a 150.2. That was the amp I was running, was a 150.2. And so anyhow, I was posting these garage scores, and I can say thank you to whatever asshat hater that wanted to call me a liar and say that I was lying. There was no way that a single 6.5 can produce that. There was no way. I was a total liar.
Shout out.
So of course,
I didn't believe. I didn't believe it forever but you were so you weren't arrogant about it. So I was like, all right, I'm not gonna mess with him too much. But I didn't believe it for a long time.
I'm not competitive at all.
Yeah, but you weren't shoving it in their face. I'm beating y'all 250s.
Right.
I was like this. I was like, I have no reason to lie. This is what I'm doing. This is it.
Right.
Well, I kept getting called a liar, so it pissed me off, and I said, well, you know what? Let's make it official. Let's put it on Turn Pro then. So the org that I know that was close was NSPL. So I started competing in NSPL. The first show I went to, I had the double barrel in there with 2 6.5s, and I did a 145. My first run I did a 45.
That's crazy.
And
that's Outlaw?
That was Outlaw. And I also started competing.
Wait, when I say Outlaw, I mean I can put the mic in the kick. Is that what y'all?
Correct.
Okay. I'm just making sure it wasn't like dash on the dash with the door open.
And
it's anywhere in front of the B pillar.
And this was still the 150.2.
Yes.
Something like a 2-channel highs amp.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Correct.
Yeah. So
y'all ever clamp that or?
Say again?
Did you ever clamp that for those 145 runs?
Man, that can't.
I know. I mean, what?
That can't be more than 75 watts. Maybe 100.
Yeah,
it's more than that.
What was you running?
What? Probably wired to 2, huh?
Well, let me get back to this. Okay, so I was also competing. I started competing because it was my first year. I wanted to compete in 0 to 24 inch beginner as well.
And that's
which
diameter.
was a legal. It's legal sealed. Mic on the dash, 500 watt limit, and it has to be 24 inches or below.
Yeah, I'd have to go with a single. I'd have to go with a single 24-inch woofer in that class. That's just me.
In a CRX.
So anyhow, I started competing in that class too. Now legal sealed, I was doing almost 44, 144 legal sealed, under 500 watts with 2 6.5s.
That's crazy.
So you don't gain a whole lot.
I gained 1 dB. I gained 1 dB.
That's solid.
And a lot of people, actually me and Skip was talking about this earlier. Legal sealed means nothing to me now because I don't compete in any classes like it.
I don't either.
But however, a lot of people do compete in legal sealed. So a lot of people say, "Oh, well, kick scores don't mean shit." They're nothing. Well, to me, legal sealed ain't shit because it's nothing to me.
You heard it here.
Yeah.
To me, to what I compete in. But however, just to satisfy Facebook, I will do a legal sealed run every now and then, just to show. Okay, well, here's the numbers. Yeah, my peak frequency's down now, because legal sealed I dropped like, 4 hertz or some crap.
Yeah.
But I don't test for it. Could I gain that 1 dB back if I continue to test for it? Maybe not. But to me, it's a waste of information. To what I do.
I tell people online, if you're butthurt about a kick score, throw the mic in the kick and open a door. Yeah. See what you do, Outlaw. Like, I'm not competing in your org. Yeah. You're the one that's butthurt because somebody's doing a higher score than you. Anybody can meet her Outlaw. Just throw a stupid door open. What's the problem?
Well, there's some vehicles that'll gain a ton, but most people, what's the most you ever seen from like 4 maybe at the
7?
Seven.
No, for real, my S10.
Yeah, I was about to say a S10 and a CRX is probably neck and neck to.
I started a little post asking
my post. Shut up,
what does people gain from legal sealed to outlaw kick? And surprisingly, I was actually surprised is some people said they lost. They lost going from legal sealed to outlaw. I don't know.
That must be drag, guys.
Some people said they lost. But then again, if you build your build, you test religiously for one style meter format, that's going to be your highest.
Right.
If you move to legal sealed or you move to headrest, you're going to lose.
Skip, your Explorer is louder sealed up in it.
Yeah, as I was telling Ronnie too, it's weird. Like if I open a door, it just, I don't know what happens, just unloads and just dies.
I remember you tried it one time at a mecha show and like your power shot way up. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like your clamp power?
Yeah.
Crazy.
But
anyhow, that's the story of how I kind of started competing, is because somebody told me I was a liar. So
see,
I jumped in the lanes.
We have to have, listen, y'all heard it here, man. We have to have haters.
Bullies need to exist in life.
That's right. We have to have haters. We would have no Ronnie. We'd have no Mr. 6.5 without haters.
Yeah, I would have never jumped into lanes if someone didn't do that.
I'm just kidding, by the way. Haters is the worst word in history, and you guys all suck. So anyway, what's your background, Ronnie? Were you ever a professional in the industry, or are you just some dude doing crazy shit in your backyard, or?
No, so backstory to me, so to speak. I grew up in a little country town.
Man, say
go figure. Go figure. Out in the sticks. So anyhow, my dad and my grandpa always built old choppers, motorcycles, and hot rods. So I grew up in shops around hot rods and motorcycles. And I started as I become a teenager or whatnot. My parents, they were very supportive, but however, you had to earn it. So my parents didn't buy me my first car. My parents didn't put me on their insurance, like auto insurance. You had to get a job and do it yourself. So my first car was a 76 Firebird that me and my grandpa completely restored. And I was into audio. So, I put, at the time, 2 MTX 10s in it on I don't know if anybody remembers this. Radio Shack used to sell Optimus amps.
Uh-huh.
Anyhow, it had a Radio Shack amp. Yes. Yep, on an old cassette player, like a Kenwood cassette deck.
Now
that was probably my first system in a vehicle. That was
Half our
Years
viewers
ago.
probably never even been in a Radio Shack or know what it is. I don't know.
I hate that they're gone because they were convenient to me. But
Dude,
anyhow,
I love Radio Shack.
oh yeah. So, throughout my teen years, going to school, whatnot, I was always big into audio and custom cars. So I started doing it, and sadly, I would stay up all night building other people's cars, making money, and then I would go to school and sleep.
Never have time to work on your own.
Nope. Well, I mean, I
know.
did have a car. Later on, I had the Impala with hydraulics. I had actually the Impala with hydraulics. I built a center console in it. It had a Orion XTR 12 in it. I was pretty big into Orion back then.
I mean, wasn't everyone?
Yes, they were. Orion was a big thing.
Oh yeah.
The XTR, like the Series 2, Series 3, those were big things back then. I had a S10 that had 4 XTR3 15s in it on 2 Memphis 1100Ds. At the time, like the Memphis 1100s and stuff, those were big amps.
Well, yeah.
They were huge, and they were expensive to someone that was 16 or 17-year-old, paying $600 a piece for an amp. That was holy crap. That was. But I hustled on the side as far as building other people's cars so I could do stuff like that. And so anyhow, I didn't have time for school. I mean, I hate to say that, but I dropped out of school and was working all the time. I was working in the shop here. Then I got a job, a real job, so to speak. In December of 1999, I got hired at where I work now. And I worked my way into maintenance there. So I do maintenance. But I have no prior educational background or anything like that. It's just, if I want it, I learn it. It's that simple.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
I set goals for myself, and I get so consumed by them, I will push myself until I meet that goal. And once I meet that goal, I'll push the bar up, and I'll keep going. I mean, that's how I've always been.
Driven.
I mean, there's nothing you can't do or get. The only person in your way is you. That's it. People hold themselves back. And unfortunately, I feel like a lot of people has just, I'll say it bluntly, a lot of people just got lazy. They want something given to them. They don't want to put in the work. They don't want to put in the hours. People see, like, okay, yesterday I posted up the 148 with the single 6.5. People see that and they're like, well, that's freaking insane. That's louder than my 215.
How you do it?
Yeah. But what they didn't see is the 2 years, almost every day I tested with that box.
Right.
For 2 years, I found out that moving the box 1 inch would gain this. Doing this would gain this. That's 2 years of constant, testing and pushing. I didn't go the easy way. I didn't say, hey, I can just throw 415s back there on 20K. I can do that easy.
I personally have more fun like that. I have more fun playing with baby subs and small subs and lightweight subs because you can move them around, you can test, you can see what's going on with them. That's why I think the $150 challenge is so fun because it's a serious challenge.
That was a very interesting challenge. I just wish more people would have joined.
Me too.
It wasn't like I wasn't trying to push it and promote it.
You scared him, bro. You scared him out.
That's not true.
I shouldn't have came out the gate at what I do.
No, I don't think that scared anybody away. I honestly don't. I mean, I have to take responsibility too because Like my car's still in shambles. I was working on it today. Like I don't have anything to I don't have anything to show. I started the shit.
Well,
So
I've noticed this too in competing. And like I said, I'm not a competitive person, so to speak. Matter of fact, someone that's competing against me, I have no problems helping them. Matter of fact, he's a pretty good friend of mine now. Jeremy, when he beat me, he did beat me one time at a show. Actually, me and Jarrett was holding his trunk and stuff because we was in a tiebreaker. Me and him was in a tiebreaker, and we decided, well, we're going to run it to see who wins, and we helped him and he beat me.
What class was it?
That was the 0 to 24-inch beginner.
Oh, okay.
That was when I was still running beginner.
What are you at, 212s or something?
212s.
Versus a 8 or something?
Yep, 212s.
Hey, I think we touched on this. I think we touched on this the last show or the show before, but or maybe not. But anyway, like I tell people all the time that Facebook is not the audio community.
No,
it's
no.
The community's out there in the lanes, and they're at shows, and they're at meets, and they're at in the parking lots late at night.
You go on like a lot of these audio forums, it's nothing but basically, hey, my pecker's bigger than yours.
Oh,
I mean, that's how I feel. That's all it is. But you go to shows, you actually go to a show, and everybody's hanging out. Everybody's having a good time. Everybody's helping each other.
Yep.
That's the way it should be. But on the internet, it's totally different.
Oh yeah.
It's a whole different world.
If you'd never been to a show and you only judged like the scene from Facebook, you would be like, why in the world would I go to a show?
Yeah. I want to see these douches in person.
I know.
Right.
Look, in I forget what year. I'm terrible with years, but World Finals, and I was trying to double up classes. It was my first year doubling up classes, and I just burned my shit down trying to break a world record in USAC, and I had my run for Iasca like 10 minutes later. Like maybe couldn't even been 10 minutes, and I didn't have any backup. I had one backup, but I burned both of them down. So I get over to the lanes, and I was like, what the crap, I'm done. I'm toast. So I'm walking over there to tell them, just let whoever's in third to jump me, And Rick Menendez goes, screw that. We're getting it. He jumped in my car. This is the guy that I was, going against for world championship. He jumps in my car. He's like pulling speakers out, running wires, doing all, he's like, balls deep in my car, helping me change woofers. This is the guy I'm competing against at World Finals, And I was like, man, this is crazy. This is how it should be. This is how it's, that's how it is.
It's crazy. Like you said, at a lot of the shows, everybody's for the most part helping each other out. Even if you're competing against them. I mean, it's a community. It actually is a community at these events.
The one time that the community failed me was Team South. Team South let me down. I was looking for a damn crimper, and I could not find a crimper to save my damn life.
It made the greatest video known to man
ever. That's the best video ever. The best video ever.
Taylor smacking a lug nut with a towing hitch.
Loudness.
Bingo, bango.
Everybody go to Skip01's channel right now and search "How to Get Loud" with Taylor Fade.
Yeah. I haven't been in too many states, but it honestly seems like North Carolina is such a bigger family than most other ones. Like everybody's on the same team. It seems like
it feels like they're all like this big.
Well, even not on the same team. If we're not on the same team,
right.
like I post a lot of pictures of us going out to eat, and there'll be several different teams together.
Right. That's what I mean. Y'all not, like I said, you're not on the same team, audio team, but North Carolina as a whole, y'all will come together for the greater good.
And a lot of us test together.
Yeah.
It's sundown. It's the magic of sundown.
It is.
They all run sundown, obviously. Like
not all. And I know he's watching this, but a teammate, that just got on Team Ruckus, Will Stewart, he runs DC Audio.
William Stewart? McNeil?
Will Stewart. Yeah. No, Will Stewart.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But for the most part, it is a lot of Sundown owners here in North Carolina. But Sundown is in North Carolina.
Right,
Sundown headquarters is in North Carolina. So,
right. That's what one thing we used to have a local brand here. I don't know if I should mention them.
the name that
The
shall
name
not
shall
be
not be
named.
mentioned. But it seemed like everybody was on them for the most part. But then when they started going south, like he couldn't get his local guys to run. He couldn't get his local guys to run the same equipment. So I was like, you'll never see that. Like, I mean, you said Will Stewart, but you'll hardly ever see that in North Carolina. Like the majority of people in North Carolina will run that local Sundown brand. Not because it's just the best, but just
I mean, it's tough to compare those two. But it's funny. We have like stop it. We have like a rich history of brands down here. What do we had? We had Lunar back in the day, right? Then we had the T, and then we had DSS. Man, it's not looking so good for Brutal Sounds.
Yeah.
If we keep going the way we're going, shout out to Brutal. Just kidding.
You tested one of theirs, didn't you?
Yeah, the 5.1.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I don't know why they call it the BS because it ain't no
sub, huh? I tested a sub of theirs. Huh?
A Brutal? No, actually.
Not you, fool.
Ronnie.
Nobody cares. The what? Oh, the amp too?
I tested one of their 8s.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I know you tested.
Yeah, how'd that do?
Oh, okay, yeah. You tested a couple of subs. You had a couple of little things like I seen that I never saw the follow up of. But maybe I don't know. Maybe
well, you weren't looking hard enough.
There it was. What about that Neo thing you was building? What about that?
I've got 3 of them. They're sitting on my little build table, just sitting there collecting dust.
I need to see that done. I need to see what's the greatest 6.5 besides Sundown? Go, Lanzar.
What other than Sundown?
Other than Sundown, what's the greatest 6.5 you've ever messed with? If you want to say it.
B2 Audio.
Who?
B2 Audio.
B2
Audio.
Ooh.
Yep.
What about have you had the FU? They just brought out a 6.5.
Yeah, he tested theirs.
You tested that one too?
I did, but I haven't done what you're talking about, Skip.
Just
I haven't done a follow up on it.
Ooh.
I did do a test on it, but at the time I wasn't satisfied with my box, so I know that there was more to it than what I did that day. But a lot of people were asking me, so I went ahead and tested it some. But I haven't tested it to its full potential yet. No.
You didn't give it kill mode.
What else you got? You have, let's see, Sundown, B2, FU, and a bunch of bullshit. Lanzar.
DD has one too, huh?
Oh, DD, that's right,
Yeah.
DD.
Yeah, DD, Massive, JL Audio.
That's right, JL.
B2, Sundown.
SSA has one? Does SSA?
Then you got like Pile.
Damn, there's a lot of 6.5s out there.
Yeah, and I've pretty much either owned or owned almost every one of them. I've tested almost every single one of them because, in my personal opinion, it is hard for me to give somebody an honest opinion if I have no data.
Right.
So
that's how it should be. I mean, how the hell are you going to tell somebody yes or no without ever having had your hands on a thing like everybody else does?
Yeah, I can't just get on a post and say insert brand here, fuck the world. That's the be all end all. No, it's not.
Yeah.
No audio company to date, none, builds something that'll fit everybody's needs. Nobody. Because not everybody's budget's the same. Not everybody's end goal is the same. So there's no audio company that builds one magic, let's say sub, that's going to fit everybody's demand.
But those what's the best sub posters? Those are the best.
Yeah, it gets fun.
They're awesome. I mean, it's not like we don't see them every day.
I was arguing with some guy today about that in a DC audio post.
So I mean, I test a lot of 6.5s. So when somebody asks me, hey, what's the best? I don't know. What are you doing? What's your build demands? Sure. Oh, well, I'm trying to stay under $100. Okay, well that just knocked out Sundown, both of them.
Yeah, well, it knocked out like 90% of it.
Yeah, I mean they're out the question. Okay, so do you have a lot of space or you got a little space? You have a lot of power, you got a little power. Then I start narrowing it down, and even though I run Sundown, doesn't mean that I'm going to recommend that to somebody, because their build or their needs aren't the same as mine. So I might tell somebody, okay, well, you're wanting to stay around $60 for a 6.5, and you're only planning on putting 150 watts to it. Massive Sumo. There you go. That'll fit your needs.
Hey, you know what you should get? You should get a bazooka tube. It's already in a ported box. You just slide it in your sniper box and see what's happening.
That would be hilarious.
I've already done it.
No, stop it.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Do you know the guy that invented bazooka lives right down the road from us?
Does he really?
Yeah, I used to go over to his house when he was working on shit. It was awesome. Like the guy who legit invented it and patented the bazooka tube. Yes. Go over there and he would be tearing shit up, dude. It was amazing. He lives in Central.
I need the prototype.
My buddy Chris Carter, he's got 2 of them.
He's in the chat right now. He's in the chat right now.
Is he?
Yeah, he's
trolling.
trolling.
Yeah, well, he's got I believe that 2 X6.5s.
In a bazooka tube?
Bazookas, yes. And
yes,
they're in a single cab, behind this seat, and they sound amazing.
Hey, I have a 10-inch bazooka at my house. That's if I'm in between subs, I just toss it in there. And dude, the thing is pretty. People hate on bazooka. I mean, they moved overseas in China, they're not made here anymore. Blah 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 blah. But if you need something, they're actually a little expensive for most people, but they're awesome. I'm nostalgic for bazooka, so that's just me. But I actually made a post on I Just Want to Bang. I think it was yesterday or day before about spot the difference.
I couldn't spot it. Dude couldn't spot it at all.
What?
No.
Or did you? Are you kidding or no?
I'm being dead serious. I thought it was the same exact picture.
You want to know what I done with that post? I said,
keep scrolling. You guys are lame. Y'all are lame. It was. What the hell? It was the what do you call it?
It was 5 minutes.
I know. It was too. It was too hard.
I was like, screw this, and just scroll on.
It's supposed to be hard, but look, I'll let y'all in on it, and I'll let our viewers in on it since you guys are my insider club. But that's the spin class, CrossFit, whatever studio at my gym, and they're using a pair of bazooka tubes for the sub stage, but they were pointed out, so I just flipped them around and corner loaded them. I can't believe it's an audio group. You guys didn't find the stereo related thing.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on there.
Yeah, I gave up.
Y'all suck.
Yeah, that post didn't do too well. Yeah, get out of here.
One guy actually, the 4th or 5th comment down, he was the only one that got it.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Just
loaded.
What am I gonna do with y'all? What am I gonna do with y'all?
Hopefully not post them no more.
Yeah, I'm gonna post those every friggin' day and tag you
or zoom in on
yeah, I believe that.
So
what was you saying?
Is the Versa, is that similar to a Yaris? Or not close at all? You don't even know what Yaris is.
I have no clue what a damn Yaris is.
No, I think the Yaris is smaller. That thing's tiny.
Because the Yaris, they used to compete with those in Street A and TB Drag and do really well.
For real.
With 210s legal. I think there was 51s and 2s, I didn't know if it was similar.
I never expected the car to SPL, to do good SPL wise. It was just something that we gave a try.
How much work do you have done to the car? Can you say that without giving away secrets? Or
it's stock.
It's no deadener?
It's stock all.
No deadener at all?
It has one piece of deadener on the roof because I broke the roof brace, and that's holding the roof brace together.
And
that's why it's so loud. Damn. Everybody knows deadener loses.
I gotta strip my shit.
It has one piece of deadener in the rear gate, and that's it. I don't have no big 3. It's stock alt. For the longest time, I had a single run of 4 gauge. That was it. 4 gauge wire is all I had in it.
For
the longest time.
I seen you and Jared messing with caps now, but have you ever tried caps before? Before this?
I did have 2 cap banks in the wagon at one time.
Oh, okay, but not in the Burt Versa.
No,
The Burt
and
Versa.
it's actually my daily. The Versa is my daily.
Do a demo.
So you
It do demo.
let me backtrack a minute and just to clarify something. You traded with your wife a Suburban for a Yaris.
I traded with my wife. Now hold on.
Anybody else catch that?
So I bought the Versa new.
No, not a Yaris, a Versa.
I bought
Still,
the Versa
same car.
brand new for her because that's what she wanted. Okay, and I had a Tahoe, a 02 Tahoe.
Well, I got both of those cars wrong, didn't I?
Yep.
Yeah, you did. So anyhow,
What's the difference?
you
Picture.
know, a woman ran a stop sign and T-boned the Versa, and it throwed the car all over the place and scared my wife. So she didn't want to drive it no more. So I said, okay, so I'll drive it because to me, I don't care what I drive back and forth. Plus, that thing gets 40 miles a gallon, so hell yeah, I'll drive it. So I started driving it, and she started driving the Tahoe. Well, about a month later, my wife and my 2 kids had just left the house and didn't even make it a mile down the road and was stopped because there was a car in front of her. And like an 80-year-old woman, never even touched the brakes. She hit the back of the Tahoe doing over 60. You know, it total lost the Tahoe. You know, they got banged up pretty good. So then I turned around and bought the Yukon. I bought her a Yukon. Well, I bought the Tahoe back from the insurance company to pull the motor and transmission out because it ran great. So anyhow, it broke one of the wheels on it. I'd got another wheel from somebody. I took a sledgehammer to the quarter panel, beat it back out the way and put the wheel on it and drove it down the road. It drives perfect. Like it's never even been touched. So anyhow, but I still bought her a Yukon. She drives the wrecked Tahoe every day. She'd rather drive it than the Yukon. So now I have a Yukon, a pretty nice Yukon that just sits in my yard most of the time. So I'm gonna do a build in it too.
Well, there you go.
That's the one I'm gonna do 30 6.5s.
That's what I'm talking about.
Put 30 on 3 4Ks in it.
Yes.
Yep.
Don't you also have another car, White Girl or something?
That's Bisquick. That was like another name that people was calling it White Girl. Then I had another one. I bought a second wagon that I was building to pull my white wagon to shows. I'd bought a whole nother 62 Biscayne wagon that was solid black. We called it Pigpen.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, Pigpen. But
I ended up selling it. I sold it, and I put that money plus a shitload more to buy my CNC.
yeah, I mean, you had to sell it because Chris Munson owns the nickname Pigpen, and the loudest guy gets it. So
Yeah,
that one had to go.
I'm not sure who come up with the name first, him or me.
Well, his is a lot dirtier and a lot louder.
I'm not going to protest Chris anyhow, so he can have the name.
That guy's got some voodoo in the back of that trunk.
He's got too many loud cars.
Where's the Pigpen is the worst.
Then there's another one. You know, a little backstory on this one. You know, a lot of people want to know why they haven't seen Bisquick in a while. You know, there's a backstory behind that. So a few years ago, my dad was diagnosed with liver cancer, and you know, he went through a surgery. They removed a mass and part of his liver that was probably about the size of a grapefruit, and he no longer can work. You know, so he's on a fixed income. You know, but anyhow, he had always wanted a 55 Bel Air. But when he got out of the hospital, he made up his mind, because in his mind he thought he was going to be able to go back to work. So he bought a 55, and he ended up getting sick, and he couldn't do nothing with it, you know. So a good buddy of mine contacted me, and, you know, because I bought Dad some rims for his birthday, this and that. or actually for Father's Day, and I was trying to help him all I could. But anyhow, a buddy of ours got up with me and said, "Hey, look, I want to do a surprise build for your daddy. You know, let's gather everything up and build his car in one day." I said, "Okay." I said, "So what we'll do is I'm going to take everything off my car. I'm going to take the motor, transmission, air ride. I'm going to take everything off my car, and let's put it in my daddy's car." So in one day, you know, I talked my dad into taking the car and dropping it off at a body shop. I was good friends with the guy. The guy told him, "Oh, we're going to have to put it in the back. It'll be months before we can get to it." Well, anyhow, the body shop clear coated it, you know, left it the natural patina, and we went over there and stole the car. And in one day, you know, there was about 50 of us all together that band together. We did power disc brake conversion on it, motor, transmission, complete air ride, power steering conversion. We done a whole build in one day.
Damn, that's like a real life overhauling. Remember that?
It's actually on YouTube. The guy filmed it all. It's under one day rat rod build.
One day rat rod. Everybody check that out.
One day rat rod build. And awesome. So anyhow, a lot of my car, you know, Bisquick, is in my daddy's car now. And you know, my daddy's doing pretty good right now. You know, he drives the car all over. I would rather see my daddy enjoy his car with the time he's got left here with me than me driving my car.
100%.
I'll put my car back together at some point. I'm
sure.
You know, it is what it is. But that's why you know, nobody sees my white car anymore, because it's tore all the way down, and a lot of those parts are on my daddy's car.
That's awesome, man. That's a fantastic story, and as soon as we get off the stream, I'm going to check that out. I really want to see that. That's awesome.
Yep. One day rat rod build. It'll be you know, we nicknamed the car Dirty Bird.
Dirty Bird.
Yep. Yep. I had a good friend of mine come in from Tennessee and do all the pinstriping and stuff on it. Yep.
That's fantastic.
He did the same pinstriping on Bisquick too?
Yes, he did. He did not on the drive-in theater speaker. A buddy of mine, Robbie Letty, he done the pinstriping on that. And Jerry Dow did the pinstriping on the exterior of the car.
I don't think people realize how, like, what an art that is.
Yeah.
You know, you think you just buy a roll of pinstriping at AutoZone and just stick some stickers on. That ain't how we roll, okay? Yeah.
It's amazing, you know, to watch those guys work. I mean, it's truly an act. I mean, I couldn't do it. Hell, I can't draw a circle, much less.
Hey, you can do some 3D modeling pretty good, dude.
You know
You're
why?
getting pretty good at that shit.
That stuff's stupid.
You know why?
For real.
3D modeling? Because every time I would do a hand sketch and give to Jared, he'd say, "What the hell is this?"
Right.
He's like, "I don't. What the hell is this?"
I don't speak in crayon, motherfucker.
Because of that, I learned 3D modeling just so I can give him.
You picked it up pretty quick, and I don't.
Yeah.
Just for anybody out there who's never tried to 3D model something, download Fusion 360 or what's that 123D, and just pick anything and try to 3D model it. And I'm telling you, you will rage quit.
Oh yeah, it was frustrating at first, you know, to learn it, but now, I mean, I can do a rendering or, you know, design a box, whatever, in like 30 minutes, you know, from start to finish. Here it is. Is this what you had in mind? You know?
I have a 3D printer, and it takes me forever. Like, it is dumb.
I gave up on the tutorial of SolidWorks one time. I ain't doing it.
Yeah, no, sorry.
No. It told me to make like a circle and like make a cutout. Like, nah,
it does not compute.
Like I said, anything that I want to learn, you know, I get dedicated to it.
Yeah.
And I learn it and master
that 3D modeling is gonna come in handy now that you're gonna open up your machine shop to the to the public. So if anybody needs custom work done, hit up Ronnie. He's begging. He's just dying for every
Well,
one of you to hit him up for custom work.
believe it or not, even that, I done all my machining work on just manual mills and lathes. I didn't have much knowledge of a CNC, so I jumped in that head first. That was a huge investment. It was something I wanted, so I dove in head first. And yeah, I've tore some shit up learning, but
that's the best way to learn.
I'm dedicated to learn. Yep. So it's fun. I enjoy it. I stay pretty busy, between doing my stuff and helping others out, and machining stuff, and just I stay really, really busy. But I have to. I can't really sit still. Even like right now, I'm sure you notice I keep moving around. It's killing me sitting here. It's just I constantly have to move. I only sleep like 4 hours a night, and I'm on the move.
I like to nap. That's why I'm quiet, because I like to nap.
Yeah.
It's like nap or DBs.
Nap. Boy, that looks heavy.
Yeah. Like I'm not moving my box for a tenth. Get out of here.
I'm not moving that.
No.
That's way too heavy.
Yeah.
That's why I like light like little subs and Neos.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, even that's a good example too. The Neo 6.5. I had to
heavier
learn.
than the Ferrari one.
It is.
So much steel.
Like when I first thought it up, I drew it up and was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Somebody was like, well, did you, I don't know the technical term. Did you optimize it or whatever? I was like,
FEA
yeah,
optimized.
I said, what the hell are you talking about? And it's like, oh, no.
I drew this in crayon on a bar napkin.
Look, so I had to learn all that. I was so obsessed with it, I went ahead and learned all that. And when I first modeled the first one, I was like, holy shit, this back plate's like way too thin, because I didn't have no idea, So I actually learned a lot about motor structure, so to speak, just because I wanted to build a 6.5 for me. I wanted to build a Neo 6.5. And nobody had one, and I was just fascinated with it. So, I had to learn all that.
Hey, that's how you get shit done, man. That's how you do it.
Mine was actually, I would consider like a hybrid, so to speak, because it was a combination of SA8 coil, SA8 spider pack. I actually, the cones on the 6.5s are aluminum, so I had to machine all that and fit everything. So it was pretty interesting, to actually breathe life into a sub, so to speak.
When are those going into production? I want one.
They're not.
I said, when are those going into production? I want one.
Yeah, they're not. That was
pre-sale.
I done most of that on a.
We get team price.
Actually, I done a lot of that on a conversational meal. That was way before I had the CNC.
So, what's next for old Mr. 6.5
What's
here?
the goals,
We're gonna
man?
start wrapping this up.
What's the goals?
Yeah. What's coming down the pike?
Pike?
A 53.
Yeah, like the Jersey Turnpike.
A 53 for a single 8.
50. What?
Wait, a what?
53.
A 53 for a single 8.
All right, mark that. Okay.
Yep.
Timestamp.
And I've always said from the get-go,
150.
I didn't think it was possible a 54 single 6.5. Yep.
50.
That's stupid.
That's 54 single 6.5.
A 1/6.
I'm going to try, but I don't. That might be a goal that always falls short of. I think I will, but
we'll just have to find the right box. No, you got that. I mean, you're not far off,
right?
As it is.
Well, I'm currently testing the X6.5 B3, which is almost as big as an X8.
you need another port, so you need to make another order for your box.
Just
Yeah.
Port,
Just
a
wall
port
it.
into a port into a port. So make the thing an eighth. Be done with it. Show everybody.
We're gonna see. We'll see if I
He's
ever reach.
considered it. He's
He's got one
considered
in
it.
the
He's
works.
considered it. Yep. It's in there.
Well,
So just ask Jared if he's got a much larger ported box that he's not using. Take the sniper box, set it inside of that box, do the thing.
there's
150.
technically one other sniper box that is put up right now. Yeah, it's put up and it's waiting. You know,
Finals? No.
if
No
I-
finals.
Huh?
You gonna reveal that
Say
at
again?
finals? No. Reveal
No.
it at finals? No.
Nope.
You don't need to. Why
Nope.
bother?
it's waiting.
All right.
No,
Well,
it-
we'll be looking forward to the live streams from finals. We'll see a 53 out of the ocho, and we will see a 50 from the 6.5. Send it.
No, you won't see a 50 from a single 6.5. Not yet.
Send it.
Nah, it won't. I know for a fact it won't do a 50 right now. I'm gonna have to invest more testing on it. And technically, if you think about it, even what I'm doing with going from the 8 to the 6.5, I'm not changing port area at all. So right now, I have too much port area for the 6.5. So eventually, I think I'm going to have to change that, make the inner port changeable,
Yeah.
so I can take some of that port area out.
Sure.
I think if I take some of the port area out, I should gain, because on the double barrel, that's what we found when we shrunk the port area, that the SPL numbers went up in that particular design.
The rear chamber port or the front.
Well, I know it as inner and outer. Is how I've always referred
Okay,
to
well, the inner port.
the inner.
Yeah.
Inner.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would be surprised that compression is sometimes a good thing back there.
Yeah,
Just
it's
wall it.
pretty weird.
Just wall it with a 6.5, dude.
No, single
Dude.
6.5.
Yeah, that's what I said. 1 6.5.
Yeah,
just wall
One
it.
6.5 wall. That would be fantastic.
Like,
Wait,
like
you know,
a 6 order.
When I started talking about
like
doing the
big ass
30
horn thing.
the 36.5s in the Yukon, a lot of people, that's what they said. Oh, do a wall, do a wall. I was like, not interested. You know, I've had wall vehicles before. I'm fascinated with a no wall. You know, not saying there's anything wrong with a wall vehicle at all. You know, I mean,
Walls
'cause-
make me itchy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're awesome.
I don't like being locked
You-
into something.
You can you can fail very easily with a wall, as my post today. If you ain't got a 160 in a wall, just end it.
Just
Dude, just
hang it up. Just
bang.
Yeah, I prefer a no wall, me personally.
Yeah.
You know?
If it fails, you can take it out in 10 seconds. You know.
yeah, and built-in excuse. It's a no wall. It
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
built for numbers.
Yeah. It's only
That's
1.5.
It only demos 57 hertz, but I did build it for numbers.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's like the Versa, and that's kind of why the Yukon build come about, is because I got tired of the 26.5s when I would put them in the Versa for like real big shows. I only had that equipment in there for like 1 or 2 shows a year, and that's a lot of equipment that just sat in the shop and collected dust.
Oh, for sure.
So I was like, well, look,
inordinate amount myself.
yeah, I was like, what? I mean, I've got this Yukon just sitting at idle. I've got all these 6.5s. Why not just do a strictly demo build? You know, that's what I say right now, strictly demo build. But
Yeah. Hey, but if
We'll
you keep
see.
it modular, could have
yeah,
both.
yeah, we'll see.
Hey-o.
Which, you know, the 26.5 build, that too was never meant for numbers. It was tuned real low. Oh, we're just going to demo, blah blah blah. Well, everybody kept asking, "What's it do? What's it do? What's it do? What's it do?" So then we finally put it on the meter and played around with it, and it was doing like mid 55s.
Those slow-mo videos are so dope,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. It's scary.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I push them right. Sometimes I go over that limit, but 90% of the time I'm pushing them to, you know, the mechanical limits. You know, go big or go home, I reckon. Recons are cheap.
I reckon.
I reckon.
Recons are cheap.
I wrecked them.
it takes me maybe, this is pushing it, 15 minutes to recon a 6.5.
Yeah, I saw your video you did. That
I mean, they're so tiny.
You got it down pat.
Yeah, I mean,
I might have to get
like
one just to try because I never recon one.
Yeah.
There's nothing to it, man. It's so simple.
The worst part is grinding the basket. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Well, here's the good thing about a 6.5. All right, so the spider is only about 4¼ inches. Wow. So a 4-inch flapping wheel on a grinder.
You just do it all at once, huh?
Oh, that's fantastic.
One time, it hits the whole spider landing.
Life hack.
That's hilarious.
That now we know the real reason why you steady fucking with 6.5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like keep that in mind. I think I'm just all 6.5 now.
Yeah.
I was just fascinated by them, and it was just.
Now you have the whole world fascinated by them.
Apparently, I'm not going to say that I was the movement for 6.5-inch subs, but I would think I played a part in it.
You got a lot of hurt feelings out there, though. You got a lot of hurt feelings. Not everybody's going to do a 50 with a 6.5.
No.
But I see a lot of companies now that see that there is a market for this.
Yeah, for sure. You know what? One of the big markets for is underseat boxes.
Oh, no doubt.
You can get 6.5s firing forward in just about anything and make it sound just as loud or better than an upfiring or downfiring 12.
The recommended airspace that I tell everybody for an X6.5 after displacement is 0.25 cubes.
Yep.
That's all it needs.
You can put that anywhere.
5 cubes.
That's crazy.
Yep. And it needs 3 to 4 square inches of port area.
It's like a glove box.
That is it.
That's fantastic. You can put those things anywhere. Yeah, the box, a 1/4 cube barely covers the ass on that thing.
Yeah, it's crazy, So
it's a beautiful woofer.
It is,
the X8. The X8 is crazy though. That thing is bananas.
Yeah, the V3 hands down. Jacob asked me to test the V3 prototype, and I was at awe by it. I thought the V2 was just the best of the best. It was a monster, blah, blah, blah. And then I got the V3 prototype from him. And when I got it from him, Jacob told me, fuck it up. I want you to break this woofer. I want to see what the weak link is on this woofer. I played, way below tune on it. I've got videos me doing demos at like 22 hertz on a single 8, flexing the windshield and stuff. I was putting 4 or 5 times RMS to it. I done everything to that sub. I still never broke it. I thought I did at the end. The ring around the triple joint, the little support ring, the glue had broke loose and it fell down. And when it did, I heard it, and I stopped playing it because I thought that the triple joint itself had failed, but it didn't. We cut it up, and the spider looked perfect. Everything looked great. And then it went straight into production. So I gave that sub hell, and it held up. And then Jacob,
I want the destructive R&D job at Sundown. Maybe I can hold that job at Sundown and excess power simultaneously. Like I think I could do both of those jobs at the same time. Beat up on both products simultaneously until they fit. I could do that. I feel like I'm tailor made for that job.
It's not an official job. It just I enjoy doing it, and I'm assuming that he likes the results because he keeps letting me tear up stuff. So, I just recently tested. I just recently tested the. I wasn't allowed to talk about this, but he gave me the green light to talk a little bit about it. The new SA8. He has a SA8 V4 coming out too. I've done all the testing on it. Yeah,
here we go.
I can't give any details on it, but I did share numbers. It had no problems doing almost a 52.
Dude, the SA is gonna go down as like iconic, like the kicker solo barrack.
Yeah.
It's like this generation's kicker solo barrack or
Yeah,
something.
it just does everything well.
Everything. It is the most versatile
daily.
woofer.
It's just
all that.
I mean, it's the V4's pretty amazing, you know. Which I don't know what he's waiting on as far as sharing any pictures or anything of it like that, but that's kind of the agreement with me and Jacob. Like, I don't share any information unless he tells me I can. You know, as far as pictures, results, anything like that. You know, I don't. I enjoy what I do, so you know, people are like, oh, hit me up in the DM and let me know I'm good at keeping secrets. I'm like, hell no. You know, I enjoy what I do, so no, I'm not doing that. You know,
suck it.
This is I was told not to talk about it, so I don't talk about it until the man says, hey, you can talk about this.
Hey, you think he got a legit shot at the world title this or this weekend?
What?
Anybody else?
Well,
what?
Well, I'm just asking if he's got any competition or what.
They don't call him Mr. 6.5 or nothing.
Hey, there might be another guy out there waiting in the wings.
Ooh.
Well, in my particular classes, I should do just fine. However, there is, you know, they have, so to speak, like specialty awards, if you want to call it that. The belts, you know, like the championship, look like a wrestling belt.
Yep.
Wrestling.
There is one up for grabs, and they just dropped this on us today. It is for single sub class 0 to 10 inch.
Hey now.
So that means I got to run against Jared.
Go get a 10.
Me and Jared's got to run.
I've seen this setup.
Now I won't. That's another thing about me. If I set a goal how I want to do it, I will not alter from it.
I hear you.
know, I'll go against him with the 8. So he might get me. It should be very.
He got 54.
It should very.
It just.
He got 54. He knows it.
Walk by his truck when he's not looking, yank a RCA or something.
Oh no, I'm the one that just machined all his terminals and stuff for him to get him ready for it.
Make him loose.
But no, that should be pretty interesting. Which, you know, either way, win or lose, I don't give a damn.
Well, give us tag us when you go live. Tag us when you go live at the award ceremony, and I owe it all to Taylor Fade and Skip.
Yeah, we need shout outs.
Skip and Taylor Fade got me to this level. I couldn't do without him.
Well, hey, I definitely enjoy what you guys do with this, and I've said it numerous times that, you know, especially when you do the interviews with owners, that a lot of people, you know, they just know a brand. They don't know a face. They don't know a story. I love that y'all are doing this, and you know, like a good example the other night with Scotty. I had no clue, you know, that Scotty done all that competing and stuff back then. I had no clue, and I'm like Skip was. I thought Excess Power has been around for 50 fucking years.
That it seemed like it.
I had no clue, you know. I mean, it's like, oh, it's for real. It's that young, you know. I really enjoy this. I really think you guys are doing a great job as far as.
Appreciate that.
You know, putting a face to these companies and stories behind people's success, so to speak. You know, I think it's pretty nice. And, you know, I've pretty much watched every one so far. You know, a couple of them I was in and out. You know, because I was tied up in the middle of machining some stuff. But for the most part, and one of you, I don't know if it's Taylor or Skip, keep changing the damn date. So
that's mostly me because my schedule is crazy. My schedule's crazy.
I'm like, you know, I'm telling the wife, no, like, all right, don't mess with me Thursday night at 7:30. I got shit to do, and then it's like, oh, we're doing this on Monday.
My show,
what the hell?
My show's coming on.
DVR that shit.
What the hell? You know, I don't watch like no TV. You know, like the only time I ever watch TV is if I'm watching a movie, you know, with the wife and kids. That's it. I don't watch any TV at all. And I do watch this though.
That's awesome. That's good to hear.
This
man.
is pretty cool.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you on. And you got any ideas for guests for next week? Throw somebody out there. We'll get them on here. Throw somebody.
I want to see Jockers in here.
Charlie Jockers?
Nah, fuck
You
Jockers.
damn
right.
Nah, fuck Jockers.
Huh?
Shout out.
Charlie Jockers? Fuck Jockers.
Yes,
might
sir.
get him.
Charlie Jockers.
We might have it.
Yes.
That's it. That's it. That'll be a very interesting show to me.
He ain't
Yeah,
got
you
shit
want-
to say.
Yes.
Well, you want to know how I explain to people about Charlie when they first meet him? I'm like, look, he's an ass. He's a total ass.
Yeah.
I said, but I love him because he's real and he's honest.
Yeah.
And I love people like that.
I text.
You know.
I message him every
And he's
day,
very
probably.
smart.
Yeah,
For Charlie,
he's stupid.
for Charlie
smart.
to be as young as he is very smart.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I hung out with him at finals last year.
I have mad respect for him.
Sorry to hear that.
You know. Well, I'm sorry. Hey, the real keep it real.
That's right. Real recognize real, you heard.
So before we go, what about the car audio Illuminati? There's some kind of secret SPL tricks that people know that they don't want to give out.
Where's the mute
The
button?
only
the
only
mute button?
Illuminati or anything that I know anything about, ain't that like Jay-Z and them and
Yeah.
I don't. What are you talking
That's
about? Skip?
That's the audio Illuminati.
What?
Look at his face. That's
I will
his
screenshot
nobody
that
will
face.
tell me anything face.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I
you
have
do. I'm getting to the bottom of it, and I'm close.
Yeah, you're making
serious.
real headway.
Charlie knows
you're
it too.
Every week.
You're a long ways away if you think I'm part of it.
Somebody knows, and somebody's gonna. I get somebody drunk enough at finals. It's getting out.
They put a bounty on it out there.
I know
Yeah,
who's got it. I know who don't got it.
Like 3 everyday audio stickers to the
I don't
first
have
one
it.
that can produce a spreadsheet.
I don't know.
Taylor said spreadsheet.
I don't know
never heard that word
what you're
before.
talking about. I wish I could help you with that, but I can't.
Somebody knows, and somebody's gonna dish it. That's all
Ain't
I'm
nobody
saying.
telling you.
Fuck all y'all. I'm gonna get loud regardless of this shit.
All right, Ronald.
His
It
name's
was a
not-
pleasure having you on.
Oh, is his name Ronald?
No, my name's not Ronald.
Thank
Oh,
you.
it is now.
No, the hell it ain't. I will post it now.
You ain't gonna do shit.
Yeah, I'm telling
Come
you
on,
now. No.
Climb down out of them mountains and see what's
bro.
happening down
Yeah.
here.
Stop picking on them wild cars with your little shit, dude.
That's
Be
right.
very
Oh shit!
Good lord.
All right, let's get
We're
out
gonna
of
get
here.
banned now.
All right. Y'all be
Appreciate
good.
it, Ronnie. Appreciate it, Ronnie.